Hello, I'm Jahamas1 and welcome to my video guide on how to beat the Dancer of Boreal Valley. Now, I may be butchering that pronunciation of Boreal a little bit. You never know. Sometimes even the simple words may be difficult to pronounce. But anyways, the reason that I wanted to make a guide for this boss in particular is just because he's the first boss that I really struggled with a lot. I mean, I fought him for at least an hour. Died to him over and over again. You know, I even went to other people's world as a white phantom to fight him. Oftentimes the host would just like die really quickly. But yeah, after some time I was finally able to beat him. So in this fight here my build is melee only. I'm a really tanky build, focusing on the 3 tanky stats. And I have a +6 battle axe. It's one of the starter weapons, but it's pretty good. And it is a raw battle axe, so it doesn't scale off my stats. And I think the main strategy for this boss is really to just, most of the time you want to keep your distance, and you need to memorize his attack patterns so you know when a good opportunity is to attack him. The most common and best opportunity to attack him is when he slams his sword or swords in the ground. However, towards the end, I think he adds in new attack patterns, and that may not be entirely true. Now, this boss only has so many attack patterns, so you know, if you kind of try to memorize them, I think eventually you'll just get familiar with them and know how to keep your distance. Now, sometimes after he pulls his sword, his dark sword, on the ground like this, he starts spinning around in a frenzy. You really want to just run away and hide behind one of the big pillars. Now, I believe after he does that spinning frenzy thing, it's actually a good opportunity to attack him right after that. However, it's kind of intimidating, and it can be hard to see him around the pillar to know exactly when he stops. So I don't think I ever took advantage of that in this fight. Right there, as I mentioned earlier, he slammed his swords in the ground, so that's again one of the best opportunities to get 1 or 2 hits in on him. Again, when he has 2 swords, it's especially important to just keep your distance. Now, this is that's a really good bait move, because so many other bosses, or so many enemies in the Souls series, seem to have these heavy jump attacks where it's like they'll be left vulnerable after they do the jump attack. However, with this boss, he does a follow-up spin right after he lands, so it's a really good bait, especially for a boss. So don't attack him after he does the jump attack. Now, that would be a good opportunity for me to fight him, hit him, but I want to play it safe and just heal up. I think that part of my problem in my other fights is that I kind of lost my patience, you know, and I wasn't sure when a good opportunity to attack him was, and oftentimes I found myself dying when I still had plenty of healing items, plenty of Estus flasks left. Throw some these throwing daggers, whatever they are, at him, just cause it's like some free damage. I'm really curious, just how a magic build would do, and how much more efficient it would be than this build. Seems like a good fight for a mage. As long as you can keep your distance, it's not that hard running away from this guy, as long as you have a shield to help back up your blocks, or block when you need it to block. Otherwise, after fighting him maybe 10 times, you may be able to roll to dodge his attacks. However, some of the timings on his attacks are a little bit mixed up. Sometimes, in the beginning at least, he'll throw on a feint, where it's like a delayed spin attack. You may see his one of his hands, but the other hand will be just delayed to come around and hit you. Now, most of the windows to attack him are pretty tight, so it's kind of like a situation like this where you know, I had a small opportunity to attack him, but I got punished pretty hard because I was unable to roll out or block. Another key thing is just to have a lot of patience, you know. I think this boss is actually pretty easy to run away from, so for a tanky build like me, it's a tactic that works. Maybe it's a build that especially requires you to be patient. Now, if you're going to do this as co-op with a phantom summoned, it is possible to stagger him to break his poise, but it takes quite a few hits and the stagger doesn't last that long, so it's a really risky thing to do. Also in co-op, something that I see a lot is this boss will quickly switch focus, or he'll throw like a feint attack, or rather what looks like an attack at one person, but he actually spins around and hits the person behind him. It's really deceptive. Something to watch out for if you're going to do co-op. And again, I believe that towards the end, he'll actually start throwing in some new attack patterns that are even a little bit more aggro. Like I said before, he'll do like this double sword slam to the ground, then he'll actually follow it up with a spin, which is different from what he'll do when he has more health. That threw me off a little bit there. I run back to heal, but I get punished with his jump and spin. Except thankfully these pillars they provide such good cover. Give you such a large window to heal, take a breath, reevaluate the fight. That'll do it for this boss. Thanks for watching and goodbye.